What's going on, everybody? Week 2 is upon us. It's DIlla926 here, bringing you a game preview of the New York Giants versus the Chicago Bears, week number 2. Game will be played in Chicago at Soldier Field. I'm assuming that's what they still call it nowadays, is what I've always referred to it as. So we got Chicago tomorrow. Chicago came out and played Detroit in the first game of the year. Mitchell Trubisky came out and struggled mightily in the first half. He was moving the ball down the field for a good portion of the first half. He just couldn't punch it in for very many scores. But he was kind of efficient for the most part, but he definitely did more damage in the second half than he did in the first half, which led the Chicago Bears back to a victory against the Detroit Lions. Something that Trubisky did in that game last week, he kind of made plays with his legs. I mean, last week he had 3 runs for 26 yards, and I feel like when Trubisky runs and gets out of the pocket, that's when he's at his best. You think about maybe 2 years ago, Trubisky had a fairly good season, and he was doing a lot of his damage with his legs. I mean, it opens up passing lanes for him, and it enables him to do a lot of different things as a quarterback. And like I said, that's honestly when he's at his best, when he's under center, is when he's actually using his legs and trying to make plays in that way. But last year, he definitely tailed away from that. I don't know why he did it, because he definitely didn't play nearly as well as he did before, the year before. And he definitely had plenty of struggles last year, which is why they brought in Nick Foles this past offseason to be his backup and possibly be his replacement if he has any struggles in the first half of the season. But Chicago got it done last week. He did enough to get the win for them against the Detroit Lions. Some players that we need to watch out for. Obviously, Allen Robinson. There was a lot of talk this week about Allen Robinson possibly being traded. That did not happen. Evidently, contract talks are back. They are talking once again, and evidently Chicago's number is at like 15 or 16 million per year for Allen Robinson. So he's going to be there tomorrow, which kind of sucks. It would have been nice if he would have been traded and we wouldn't have to deal with him this week. But, we're going to have to line up against him this week, and hopefully we can contain him. I'm assuming Bradbury will do what he needs to do to shut down Allen Robinson for the most part, and, kind of keep this offense in check and kind of keep him out of the end zone for the Chicago Bears. Hopefully, Bradbury can get that done. But the other guy that can kill us is Anthony Miller. Anthony Miller is a very similar wide receiver to Golden Tate and a guy like Sterling Shepard. He's a guy that's going to kill you underneath. He's quick. He can, catch a lot of balls over the middle of the field on short routes and turn up field and gain 15 to 20 yards on a play. Last game he had 4 catches for 76 yards. Didn't have any touchdowns, but he was definitely a main target for Trubisky in that offense, and he was a guy that was out there making plays for him against that porous, Detroit Lions secondary, which is much like ours. Honestly, Chicago's going up against the defense is very similar to what they played last week. So, I won't be surprised if Trubisky comes out and has a decent game against us, because, if guys like Lorenzo Carter, O'Shane Exemis, and Marcus Golden don't get any pressure on this guy, like I said, he's going to get out of the pocket, and he's probably going to make plays, and he's going to make throws down the field. Now, hopefully we can contain him. Blake Martinez is probably going to have another big game like he did last week. He was a tackling machine. I think he had something like 12 or 13 tackles in the game. He may have had more than that. But, if Trubisky gets out of that pocket, he's going to have to hawk him down and definitely, stop his progress and keep him from running upfield on us. Other guys on offense, David Montgomery, he's a second-year running back. Last year, it was kind of an up and down season. He was a guy that got a ton of carries last year. Got a ton of carries, but didn't really do much with the work that he got. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about David Montgomery right now. He's a tough runner. From basically what I remember of him in college when he came out of, I think it was Iowa State, if I'm not mistaken. He's a tough runner. He's a guy that will fight for every single yard that he gets. And he's not a guy that will necessarily catch the ball out of the backfield. I don't believe. That's they basically leave that up to Tyree Cohen for the most part, as far as catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, Cohen's going to be sprinkled into the running game along with Montgomery. Cohen got 7 carries last week for 41 yards. Montgomery had 13 carries for 64 yards. So hopefully our rush defense can step up and stop those two guys. I think these are two running backs that our rushing defense can definitely stop. I mean, I know we had trouble against Benny Snell last week, but I mean, that was the first game of the season. And I expect a lot better play out of this defensive line than what we got last week. I think the line was just gas as the first game of the year. Not having preseason definitely affected that defensive line. But like I said, I expect this line to actually play a hell of a lot better in this game. And I think they're going to shut down this running game of Chicago. And I think it's going to force Trubisky to put the ball in his hands and actually make plays down the field, which will probably be the turning point of this game, and what is going to cause the Chicago Bears to lose this game is the fact that Trubisky's going to have to make plays himself. And I just don't see him doing that 2 weeks in a row like he did against Detroit. I don't see him doing it. He's not a consistent quarterback. When I think about Mitch Trubisky reminds me of a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. Garoppolo is a guy that can have a great game 1 week and then come back the following week and just look like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Trubisky's he's the same way. I mean, he can have a great game and then he'll go on a streak of like 2 to 3 games where he just plays piss poor. Like he plays like one of the worst quarterbacks in pro football. But yeah, I don't believe he's going to come out and be as consistent as he was last week. And I do think this Giants defense is going to step up. I think Joe Judge is going to have this defense ready to stop a guy like Trubisky. And I think we're going to shut down Allen Robinson and Anthony. I think out of the two, I think Anthony Miller is probably going to do the most damage against us, because I think Bradbury will probably contain Allen Robinson for the most part. But I mean, Allen Robinson may be motivated in this game, considering he's in contract talks right now with Bears management. Hopefully he doesn't get motivated enough to come out and kill us for about 100 yards and a score. I hope that's what doesn't happen. I mean, it could happen. I mean, these are NFL players and they're playing for money, and I mean it's happened plenty of times before. These guys know they're getting ready to get paid, and they just come out and have these blow up games and blow up seasons. And then the following year they get absolutely nothing out of them. But yeah, those are the two guys that we definitely need to worry about. You know, David Montgomery. Hopefully we shut him down. Leonard Williams, hopefully, you know, he gets some push inside. You know, hopefully our interior line, you know, shuts down any kind of running lanes on the inside and contains this running game and shuts down Trubisky for the most part. Hopefully the secondary can step up and play a hell of a lot better than what they did last week. But yeah, I mean, if you think about the game last week that they played, that Chicago played against Detroit, I mean, TJ Hawkinson was a guy that was able to, I think he had like 5 or 6 catches for maybe like 55 yards and a touchdown. So obviously, you know, the tight end was effective against this defense, and hopefully Evan Ingram can step up and have a decent game for us in this game, because we're going to need him to be productive, and he's going to have to start doing something for this team, or Caden Smith is going to take his spot out there on the field. And if Ingram doesn't do anything this week, honestly, I think that needs to happen sooner than later. Because Caden Smith, to me, is just an all-around tight end. He's sure-handed. You know, he can block. I mean, he's just a good player, man. And that's the kind of player that you need out on the field. You don't need a guy that's going to be out there and, you know, trying to catch the ball with one hand, or is not blocking anybody, or, you know, he'll catch a pass on this drive or on this pass attempt, and then the following pass attempt, he'll drop the ball. I mean, that's the story of Evan Ingram, just the story of inconsistency. So, yeah. So, I mean, there was no Kenny Golladay for Detroit last week, so, you know, Chicago really didn't have to worry about him. Honestly, I think if Kenny Golladay was out on the field for Detroit, I think Chicago would have lost this game. But, you know, I mean, that's you know, Matt Stafford's main passing weapon is Kenny Golladay. The guy's a beast. But, I mean, the fact that he wasn't on the field, it definitely made things easier for the Chicago Bears. But for us, offensively, hopefully Saquon gets it going. I definitely believe he will. I think this offensive line will play much better. You know, we're going to have to contain, you know, Raekwon Smith, you know, Khalil Mack, all those guys, Danny Trevathan, you know. They've got, you know, Kyle Fuller on the outside. I'm assuming he'll be matched up against Slayton. You know, we'll need Shepard and Golden Tate to actually, you know, catch some passes underneath and do some damage, you know, after the catch. yards per catch. Those two guys are definitely going to have to make some stuff happen for us, along with Ingram, like I said. But, yeah, I expect Daniel Jones to come out and have a very good game in this game. I don't know exactly what the weather is going to be like in Chicago tomorrow, but, I mean, it's the Windy City. Hopefully the wind's not blowing too hard and it's not affecting, how these QBs play, and especially Daniel Jones. But, I mean, Daniel Jones can throw the ball hard enough to make it cut through the wind. I think he'll be all right. I expect, even though Slayton's going to be facing, Kyle Fuller, I'm assuming for a good majority of this game. I mean, if Chicago hasn't figured out that Darius Slayton is the best wide receiver on this team, if they put Fuller on anybody else, I mean, that's their own stupidity, and they're just going to kill themselves. But, yeah, I expect Slayton to come out and have a pretty good game. Maybe catch another touchdown pass. Hopefully that's what happens. I just think Daniel Jones is going to come out and have a very good game in this one, especially after the way he played in that Pittsburgh game. And I thought he played extremely well. I even said that immediately after the game. I didn't criticize the guy one bit. I understood the fact that he was under pressure the whole entire game. Saquon wasn't blocking for him. Our offensive line was letting blitzers come in left and right. Jones did everything he could in that game. I mean, even though he had the turnover inside the 10, he did everything in that game to try to help us win. And we just couldn't get it done because we just didn't have all of our pieces working together to help this team be victorious in that game. But hopefully everything comes together this week and we come out and we have a good showing. I do believe we will. I do believe we will. I think this team will come out and get a win against the Chicago Bears. I'm thinking the score is probably going to be a close one throughout the game. I can see us possibly winning this game either 23-20 or maybe 24-20. I think around there is what the score of this game is going to be. It's going to be close throughout, but I think the Giants get a touchdown late to propel us to a victory in this one. So, yeah, like I said, we have to contain Trubisky in that pocket, and hopefully he doesn't kill us on the ground. I don't think he will because it's not something that he did a lot last year, and I mean he did it in the first game a little bit, but hopefully this secondary can step up and stop these wide receivers that Chicago has and limit the passing opportunities that Trubisky has to have big plays in this game. So, but I think this team will do it. I think the Giants will come out victorious in this one. In my prediction video before the season, I had the Giants winning this game. And the game next week against the Rams, I'm going to give you guys a little sneak preview. I've got us winning that one too. So we'll see what happens in this one. That's my preview for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I don't know if the game is going to be available in my area, so that kind of sucks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to watch it or not. So if I can't watch it, I probably won't be able to do a video. I mean, I could probably look at the box score and try to break everything down for you guys. I'll attempt to do that. But I don't think the game's going to be on here. But if it is, I'll definitely be on here tomorrow as soon as the game is over and put together a video for you guys and then tell you guys what I thought and how the team just played as a whole. So that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I was kind of all over the place in it, talking about this player, that player, the game before, the game last week. But I just wanted to kind of fill you in on the numbers that the Chicago put up and their opponent put up against them. So you guys kind of have an idea what we're going up against. So you guys take it easy. Have a good night. And hopefully I get the game on tomorrow so I can give you guys another video after the game and tell you what I thought. So you guys take it easy again. Have a good night and talk to you later. See you. Bye.